This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. It's Tuesday, November 15th. Let's check out the top stories of the day. Up against healthy gains that began to emerge in the second half of 2015, the pace of Arkansas's tourism industry growth has slowed, but it remains on pace for a record year. For the first 8 months of 2016, hospitality collections in 17 Arkansas cities is up 3.7% compared to the same period in 2015, but down from the 5.6% growth in the first 4 months of this year. Collections of the state's 2% tourism tax continues on a record pace, with collections up 3.1%. That's according to the Arkansas Tourism Ticker. You can read the full report at talkbusiness.net. A new national study shows that many borrowers are struggling to make student loan payments and regret their borrowing. With 43 million Americans carrying student loans, the report shows that 54% of student loan holders did not try to figure out what their monthly payments would be before taking out loans, and 53% said if they could go back and redo the process of taking out loans, they would do things differently. Arkansas lawmakers studying the issue of student loan debt heading into the next session. The state's foster care system truly is in a crisis, say DHS officials, as the number of placed children has grown nearly 30% in the past year, partly because a lack of experienced caseworkers is slowing the movement of children out of the system. DHS officials are attempting to stabilize the situation. The number of children in the state's foster care system has increased from 4,000 in 2013 to 5,200 today. More children are entering the system, though not in unprecedented numbers, and fewer are leaving it to be reunified with their families. And those are the top stories of the last 12 hours or so. You can check out more at our website at talkbusiness.net. Still to come, our Web Extra with Lieutenant Governor Tim Griffin. He wants to see a change in the way the Arkansas legislature makes committee assignments. Governor Asa Hutchinson has plans to advance biking in the natural state. And what was on the menu at today's Central Arkansas Political Animals Club meeting? Club President Rex Nelson shares.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
Arkansas's most abundant natural resource provides the core asset for Deltic Timber Corporation. In addition to the sustainable yield stewardship of its well-stocked timberlands, Deltic adds value by integrating its efficient wood products manufacturing facilities, as well as through planned development of commercial and residential real estate. Deltic Timber Corporation, creating value for a growing Arkansas.
On Sunday's Talk Business and Politics, I sat down with Lieutenant Governor Tim Griffin to discuss the big election results from last week. We turned our attention to state politics, where the GOP made big gains. After a minority of Democratic legislators used the rules to their advantage to gain a majority on the House Revenue and Tax Committee, Griffin let his displeasure for the traditional rules of the Arkansas legislature be known in a Twitter episode. Let's talk about a little parliamentary move went down this week. It wasn't on your end of the building down in the Senate where you preside, but it was down in the House. The Democrats, even though they only have 26, actually wound up stacking the House Revenue and Tax Committee with 11 out of the 20 members on there, which gives them the majority on that. You tweeted your dissatisfaction with that it should be, in the wake of GOP victory, the Democrats should have not have any control of any committees. Are you going to push for some changes on that? What do you think is going to happen internally up there as a result of this?
Let me be real clear. I understand why they did it. They're using the rules that have been around since Athens was the center of the civilized world, right? And they are taking advantage of the rules that are there.
It's pretty good gamesmanship, though, isn't it?
Yeah. My beef is this: we should not be pursuing policies and rules and laws based on how things have always been. We should not be pursuing them the way we do them now. We should have one question. That is, what should we be doing? I don't care if it's been done for 500 years. The leadership ought to adopt policy that simply has, like as reflected in the Republican Party platform in this state, and is done in a lot of places all over the country, including the U.S. Congress. You ought to take the percentage that you win. Let's say you have 75% of the State House. The committee makeup ought to be 75%. You're expressing the will of the voters through the committee structure to give power, not just a voice, but to give complete chairmanship or power or whatever, a majority on a committee like that is basically this, saying, hey voters, thank you for giving a majority to us. We appreciate it very much, but we know better. We're going to give it to the Democrats and let them pursue the policies, even though you voted for our policies. And I tell my Republican friends, if you think when you don't get something done that you can use the excuse, well, we didn't control that committee, it ain't going to work. Because voters are going to say, oh, why don't you control that committee? Oh, is it because you gave the power away? So here's what I would propose. And I'm not in the House, but you know what I am? I'm a taxpayer and I'm a citizen and I've been involved for a long time and I have an opinion just like anybody else. So the idea that, well, you're not in the House or you're not a legislator.
What's your proposal?
My proposal is this. Thanks. My proposal is simply you take the percentage that you control in the body, the House or the Senate, and those percentages are reflected in the committees. So if you have 75% of the House, you have 75% of the seats on the committee, the other side gets 25%. The chairman is always the majority party, and you have a ranking minority member. Now, the Republicans can pick internally who they want to fill those seats. They can use a steering committee. They can have the speaker pick them, whatever. The Democrats can do the same.
Still put a Republican chairman in charge of that committee because there's 9 Republicans on there, and the House Speaker gets to do that.
The problem is the only defense.
It's easy for me to ask you and for you to agree that when Democrats were in charge, you would have been okay with that, and if Democrats are in power again, you would be okay with your proposal as well. Because it's already in the past, and it's not likely to happen anytime soon.
No, well, here's what I'm saying. I am simply saying, I understand that I'm not blaming them for taking advantage of the rules. I'm blaming us for not having the foresight to fix this. I'm going to say this. I got elected in 2014. One of the first meetings I had with some other people that got elected in 2014. I said, I want to put something on your radar that is problematic. I said, the way we choose committee structure.
Seniority
Without regard to party.
By congressional district.
Right,
Correct.
and all that stuff. That is problematic. And it's going to cause a problem down the road. And you know what? It did. Mm-hmm. It did on tort reform. It did on education reform. It did on voter ID. And those are just ones we know about. How many bills were never introduced in those committees because people knew it wasn't going to get past it? I'm not blaming folks for doing that. And the reason the Democrats had it this way is because it used to be a one-party state. There was no reason to worry about party. And a lot of the more moderate Democrats teamed up with Republicans against the more liberal Democrats. So there was all kind of stuff in the past. The past is past. What I'm about is the future. And what is right is to say, what should it look like? This is one man's opinion, but from what I hear from the voters, and I just got off the phone with Tom Cotton, who's just a friend, we're talking. He agrees with me 110%. And a lot of
state legislators would love for a federal legislator to come meddle in their business.
No, it's not about meddling. He's a citizen too.
Yep.
We're all citizens and we want what's best for the state. We shouldn't be, oh, you're not in this club or you're not in that club.
You're going to push for something happening before the session starts to change this?
You know, I don't have a lot of levers to pull. You let me on this show, so I'm using this.
All right.
I'm communicating. It's just my view. They can agree or not agree, but I think this system will be changed. It may not be changed today. It may not be changed tomorrow. But reform is coming to this state. And the excuse, if we've always done it this way, that is the laziest excuse, the laziest intellectual argument that can be made. Reform is coming, And it's going to come one way or the other if we're going to compete and we're going to be able to grow jobs and reduce taxes and have opportunity for my 6-year-old, my 9-year-old, your kids. And so this is just a symptom of a broader problem.
That's Lieutenant Governor Tim Griffin. You can check out our full interview at our website at talkbusiness.net. A quick break and more politics. Rex Nelson from the original Political Animals Club weighs in. Plus, we'll look at tourism in the natural state. State leaders are peddling a new initiative. We'll find out more when we come back.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us. Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy. And together, we power life. Entergy.
Time to check in with the latest on our tourism microsite. It's our rundown of what's happening in the business sphere of one of the fastest growing sectors in state business. Our tourism microsite is brought to you by the Arkansas Department of Heritage and the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism. 500 cyclists from throughout the world landed in Bentonville last week for the International Mountain Bicycling Association World Summit. And Governor Asa Hutchinson took the opportunity to announce a number of initiatives aimed at boosting Arkansas's mountain biking and road cycling industries. Governor said Arkansas will start promoting itself as the cycling hub of the South. He also announced a plan to form a governor's advisory council on cycling to promote the health benefits of cycling and the industry's impact on the state economy. Last week was the 5-year anniversary for the Crystal Bridges Museum in Bentonville. About 2.7 million people have visited the museum, and more than half of those visitors came from within Arkansas. The museum estimates 55% of the visitors came from Arkansas, 25% came from adjoining states, such as Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas, and 20% came from other states and countries. Since 2011, the museum's permanent collection has grown from 1,500 pieces of art to almost 2,400 artistic works. You can keep up with tourism stories like these on our website at talkbusiness.net. Just head to the bottom third of the homepage and look for all of our microsites, including our tourism and heritage news. Politics is a part of our heritage, by the way, so when we come back, Rex Nelson, he'll recap the program from today's Central Arkansas Political Animals Club.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.
So much of what Arkansas state employees do goes unnoticed, yet they have a positive impact on our citizens each and every day. The Arkansas State Employees Association recognizes individuals for excellence in the workplace and leadership in their communities. Congratulations to Deanna O'Malley of Texarkana, the Outstanding State Employee of 2016. We'd like to say thank you to all state employees for all of your hard work and dedication.
On Tuesday, I had the pleasure of hosting the Political Animals Club in Little Rock for a review of the recent elections. John Brummett and Rex Nelson joined me for analysis. Since Rex is always running the club, he rarely gets to weigh in with his opinions, which are always solid, so I asked him to give us a recap of today's presentation.
Well, of course, people were wondering what happened, as people are wondering all over the country. So we had one of the best Political Animals Club crowds in a long time, as all of us, including those who were on the panel, are still trying to digest what happened a week earlier.
So what do you think happened?
Well, I think a lot of people came out and voted for Donald Trump across the country that may not have even voted at all 4 years ago or 8 years ago. He talked about millions of people that the pollsters really couldn't find. I think that turned out to be a reality.
That's Rex Nelson with the Political Animals Club in Central Arkansas. Always a great time at the event. Now, if you're not in Central Arkansas, there are political animal clubs in Jonesboro, Fayetteville, and Monticello. So there's no excuse not to find a bipartisan place to talk politics. That's all for today's program. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you tomorrow.